When you hear the words relaxing getaway, what comes to mind? I personally think of walking into a warm sun as I walk on the sandy beach. Hold on, can I start over? I lost my spot. Okay, when you hear the words relaxing getaway, what comes to mind? I personally think of walking to a warm sun as I walk on a beautiful sandy beach, heads towards the water as I could see clearly through it, seals peacefully swimming into Rocky Bay, turtles making their way up to the clean shore, pelicans soaring through the sky, fearlessly diving into the ocean. Sounds amazing, right? Too bad I'm never going to be able to see it, and do you know why? Because of a little thing called plastic. Not working. Hold on. It's not. There you go. Plastic pollution. I'll be informing you the irony of plastic pollution entails, how we humans are the cause of our own destruction, where all the non-biodegradable materials end up, and lastly, the effects on plastic pollution on animal life. So what exactly is plastic? We use the material every day, but do we even know what it's made from or how it's formed? Well, according to Arjen Sylvester, plastic is derived from organic products, the materials of products and plastic such as cellulose, coal, natural gases, salt, and of course, crude oil. Although the primary source of plastic is made of natural products, when fusing these materials together, they become denatured from its original form and created material that can withstand the effects of time. Keeping that in mind, take a look around you. Almost everything we eat, drink, use is packaged in petroleum plastic. I find it completely ironic that we as humans constantly use plastic in the materials that are a material that's meant to last forever, and on things that we dispose of on a daily basis. Think about it. Things like plastic packaging, bottled water, takeout containers, restaurants, and even utensils are made up of plastic and are rarely recycled. According to fiveguys.org, we currently only recover 5% of plastic we produce. About 1,500 bottles of water are consumed in the U.S. every second. Out of the 50 billion bottles of water we are bought each year, only 80% of them end up in landfills, even though there are recycling plants that exist. If it wasn't bad enough, an estimated 500 billion to a trillion plastic bags are consumed worldwide. That comes up to over 1 million per minute. There's no definite frame of how long it takes for plastic to decompose, but scientists have come to believe that plastic roughly takes about 1,000 years to deteriorate. Since it's not been long enough to truly know, scientists have yet to see one fully decomposed. And that's just the thin plastics. Since plastic does not decompose quickly, it ends up in our sewers and eventually runs into our sewage systems before it ends up in a place known as Plastic Island. No, see, it's not working. That's the currents and how, yeah. Before reaching to its doom of Plastic Island, the materials make their way through sewage systems all over the world before finding its way into the oceans. According to the Center of Biological Diversity, in Los Angeles alone, 20 tons of plastic fragments, such as grocery bags, straws, soda bottles, are carried out into the Pacific Ocean every day. There is an estimation stating that there's close to 40 million kilos of plastic in the area of almost 9 million square kilometers, which means that all this is gathered up in plastic, which is twice the size of Texas. The United States Environmental Program estimates in 2006 that for every square mile the ocean hosts, there's close to 50,000 plastic pieces floating in our oceans. One of the main causes of polluted waters is the dumping of trash by boat users. The National Academy of Science estimated that 14 billion pounds of garbage is dumped into the ocean each year. Another way that plastic reaches our seas is through sewage systems. During the rainy seasons, the water treatment plant is unable to contain all the water that flows into the sewage system. And when it overflows, it's carried out to sea. The drifting quote-unquote soup stretches over 560 miles across the California coast, past Hawaii, and almost closest to Japan. As a large amount of garbage is very hazardous to marine life and the tourism. In many cases, Americans do not see how catastrophic this problem is, as it has endangered our wildlife, starting from the bottom to plankton, and it moves its way up, reaching fish, seals, whales, birds, and even humans. Marine biologist Susan Casey Some of the most obvious victims are seabirds. Their bodies are packed with things such as bottle caps, cigarette lighters, tampon applicators, and colored scraps. More than 1 million seabirds die each year, not to mention thousand marine animals that fall victim to plastic debris. Plastic pollution is a deadly consequence for at least 267 marine species. If it wasn't bad enough, plastic breaks down in low temperatures in the ocean, and they release a chemical not found in nature called bisphenol A, also known as BPA, which are harmful to the growth and development of marine mammals. This affects the food chain because the loss of any species ruins the balance of life. If the fish that we eat consume and ingest plastic particles, this means that we too ingest the very same plastic we dispose of. Although the damages in the ocean might be detrimental, we still have an opportunity to salvage this mess. An ecological project aiming to clean plastic is being formed, called the Island of Plastic. The plastic island is an island which connects large membranes that are propelled forward through the use of kites. These membranes are used to gather underwater debris towards the island, and once it's on the island, the plastic is recycled and made into new plastic products. Simpler everyday things can be that we can do by lessening the debris by using aluminum plastic drinking canteens instead of plastic bottles. Another thing we can do is do a one-time buy of using canvas bags instead of using plastic bags by the grocery store or the mall. Lastly, we should attempt to make recycling second nature to us. Underneath all the plastic, grime, and garbage, there's still hope for reinventing the world to the beautiful land it once was. Some people may be discouraged and believe that one person cannot make a difference, but if we all come together and do our part, spreading the message, and make people aware of what's happening, then maybe one day the entire world can reach the potential of becoming its own relaxing getaway. Thank you.
All right, Mike, I think I was looking all over the place for people to take up the mantle for this oral evaluation. It got to be a little complicated because every time I tried to find somebody, they're not in the class anymore, they're not here today. So I'm just going to go ahead and dive in on this myself. I think you have a nice visualization at the beginning, although you do get stuck on that one thing. And there's a good example about why you don't want to be reading, especially your introduction, because you want to get off on a good start. You want to be talking to us. And I know you've written it out. You've got all of that eloquent language in there and those evocative images that you're drawing, but when you're dependent on the script to do that, then whenever something happens like happened here, it takes away from that elegance. And that's why I think maybe it would be better to have a simpler way of saying the same thing and not be reliant on the script. Other than that, though, that was the only thing that was problematic about the delivery of the speech. I think that you did a good job for the most part. There was one other thing toward the end of the speech, the last 30 seconds. It just felt like you were rushing to get done. And you had time, so I don't know how much time she was showing you, but I had you at 7:17, so I'm not sure why you were in such a rush to get through it. But for the most part, you did a nice job talking to us, and you used your notes, but you were not only reading to us, and I appreciated that. Topic is really clearly identified. There's a very clear thesis statement. I like the justification that you got. You got an excellent preview of what the supporting material is. You were very consistent about citing your supporting material in the speech. At one point,